Today's episode is brought to you by Mazars. SoundCartel. We know that online testimonials and reviews can help win you business. But what if I told you that you can increase that advantage even more? From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. Online video reviews are becoming the next big thing. They're personal, they're authentic, and far more visually appealing than written reviews. They took off during the pandemic, and they're here to stay. It was during those early days of COVID, entrepreneur Ainslie Williams recognised the potential of video reviews. So she pivoted her consumer insights video company and founded Reel.Reviews, an easy-to-use app that helps businesses capture their customers' video reviews directly from their smartphones. She explains how it works shortly. First, Chris Ashmore asks Ainslie how important testimonials of any sort, written or video, are for businesses.
Look, they're incredibly important. I think there's some really strong statistics that have been around for some time that look at upwards of 91% of people consume reviews and testimonials on their path to purchase anything, products or services. That's whether I'm buying as a consumer or as a professional. And around 84% of people trust what they hear. They trust reviews as much as they would trust a word of mouth or a personal recommendation. So they're well entrenched in people's path to making a purchase decision. I suppose they've been around a long time though, right? And just starting to see some murmurs across bigger markets like the UK and the US of fake text reviews. So there's starting to be a little bit of discourse, I suppose, about the legitimacy of some of the reviews people are watching. So, and also, I suppose, the infiltration of that area of influencers. It's quite a dynamic space, I suppose, because of those two pressures, but the behaviour to consume this kind of material or content is really well entrenched within a purchase cycle. And I think as well, if you go to any site at all, whether it's a service, a big merchant or a small merchant, Woolies, everyone uses reviews. Everyone's got them against their product or their service. So it's almost like a hygiene factor, I think, for most businesses to have some kind of testimonial review of their service, and whether that's on their site or collected by Google or Facebook. So I don't think you can get away from them these days working in marketing or in business.
And video reviews, they're even more powerful, more persuasive.
Yeah, and that really comes down to the basic premise that interpersonal communication between people is only really 7% of what is said. So the rest of how we take on information is all about visual cues and body language and tone and emotion. And so obviously, yes, you can use an emoji, but there's nothing more real than watching someone else talk about a product to you or give their point of view. And more pointedly, I suppose, working in another business for many years, collecting video insight, I've seen the power of that video insight, persuade decision makers at the highest level of government or of enterprise. So video as a medium is really powerful and important, and probably none more so than the last 2 years where everyone's been kind of locked up or locked inside and been forced to use more video to just get on with day to day. So as a medium, it's definitely powerful, it's persuasive, and it's becoming more common, I suppose, as a way for people to share their stories and talk to one another.
Well, how does a business convince their customers or clients to provide a testimonial video?
The thing to understand is most people will put their face to camera, predominantly if they really love your product or service. So they've got to have a good experience first and foremost to do anything for you. Secondly, then it's how you ask and when you ask. So for the how I'll speak about first, that's how you frame it to people. So often people are asked, give us a review back, please, back to the business. And look, some people may do that out of the goodness of their heart, but what we've found a more powerful, a more motivating way to frame it is to say, look, you've had a great experience, you've had a great deal with us, help other people like you get that deal, get that experience. And it's almost appealing to them to help their peers as opposed to helping the business can be a much more motivating way to frame that question. The other thing is, over the course of a day, you might be asked half a dozen times to leave a review, whether it's from your barista, whether it's your quinoa from Woolworths. Product reviews are thrown at us daily. So again, we frame it slightly differently, which is share your story about your experience with us. again, it comes back to a true core human truth, which is humans are designed to tell stories and receive them. And asking people to share a story is just a slightly different way to say, leave me a review. It's like, actually, I'm open and want to listen and understand your experience with us. So they're really subtle framing techniques, and we've learned that from being sort of researchers for many years, but that's the how you do it. The when you do it it's all around timing, really. What you want to do is understand when your customers are in their highest emotional point for you with their service. So if it's a service business, it might be right after an event has finished, or you've done their tax return and they're pleased with what's on the paper. If it's more about skincare or wellness or something that needs, a course of treatment, it might be 6 weeks post them signing up to something. So each business will be individual, but consider when that high emotional point is, because it's at that point they're most likely to record a video for you and to do it with the highest level of passion, if you like. We have some businesses that run float centres and massage parlours, and they have a QR code at their reception, so on the way out people are all completely blissed out after their treatment and record then and there, and that just makes beautiful content, really persuasive, very authentic. You can see kind of the glow through the video, so timing is also important.
Well, Ainslie, tell me a bit about you and Reel.Reviews. What is it that you do, and where did the idea of Reel.Reviews spring from?
So I've been working for 20 years in the field of consumer behaviour and consumer psychology. So 6 years ago we had built a platform to, collect video insight on behalf of enterprise, federal government, big end of town players for the purposes of informing their stakeholders and making business decisions. So we had been running that business for about 5 or 6 years. So I'd seen, as I said earlier, the power of this content in helping people make a decision and really understand where someone's coming from. And so when COVID hit, everyone sort of had that shock freeze for a moment, and we thought, okay, we could be in for the long haul here. How do we repurpose and repackage what we've got? And really, it's not too different. When you're asking people to share their experience of a service or a product for a purpose of an insight, a research insight, it's not too dissimilar for them to say, gosh, what we're hearing sounds like a review, sounds like someone's experience of a product. So it was a pretty simple reskinning of the platform, or part of the platform, for us to then generate and build this product, or now this business called Reel.Reviews. We also looked at the other strong tailwinds. As I mentioned, video has become a very common and powerful medium by which people communicate with one another. Also, obviously, the rise of, there was Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, well, Snapchat first, then TikTok. Now there's Be Real, which is another social platform that's just launching out of France, all video-based. So obviously video has become quite the currency of the internet, you could argue. We had seen the growth of the e-commerce industry in the US, so 10 years growth in 3 months. So we really just jumped on a lot of tailwinds. And we also knew that collecting video is not easy. We had spent 6 years refining and optimizing how we do it. And so we thought we can take all that learning into this space. So there was lots of things that kind of clicked in front of us to say, let's have a crack.
So how does Reel.Reviews work?
It's really simple, 4 steps. So a business comes onto the platform, makes an account, they create their campaign, which is what we call that collects the video testimonials. They send it out through their CRM systems. It's better coming from them than from us. That's a collection part of it. Once that content's on our platform, it's very seamless for a customer to do this. Our platform helps to predict the content that they collect, the videos that we collect, which will be most powerful if they use it. So we've got some nerdy algorithms, because they're researchers under the hood helping to do that part. And then once that content's there, we give a recommendation based on what we predict will work best in market. The merchant can publish that to their site. We have a widget that they can stream fresh content to their site. Just as you'd see a ticker tape of text reviews, we offer a ticker tape of video reviews. They can download it, and we can also provide a social editing service. So we also package up that content into highly dynamic, like 20-second campaigns that can run through all those platforms, social platforms I mentioned. So it's a collection, analysis, and kind of publishing platform all baked into one.
That was Ainslie Williams, CEO of Reel.Reviews. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow @BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel. This episode was brought to you by Mazars. To find out more, visit mazars.com.au. That's mazars.com.au.